Hey, Capricorn, Mel, intuitive coach here, excited to bring in your November 2025 love reading. Now, this session is devoted entirely to self-love and inner work. We are going to create a space here today to help you reconnect to your heart, to honor your growth and how far you've come on your journey, Capricorn, and to nurture the relationship you have with yourself. So no matter what season of life you find yourself in, whether you are in the midst of healing, rebuilding, expanding, or even remembering who you are, this session is your invitation to return home to you, to trust that everything you've walked through has been shaping you for this next chapter of your life. So let's dive in here and take a look at the overall energy here that is surrounding the relationship with yourself. You are showing up as the Eight of Cups. This is powerful. This is about you moving beyond emotional baggage and attachments. Some of you may have been at a place where you felt emotionally exhausted. And I feel like you now have the self-awareness to recognize patterns, recognize where your cup is being drained and what fills your own cup. Because the cups element here has to do with emotional fatigue, perhaps suppression, or even codependent dynamics where other people have relied on you. This often comes up when you are a caregiver, whether you are caring for elderly parents, for your own children, or you are in a caregiving or healer role, either in your professional life or your personal life. But I feel like you are ready to incorporate new techniques, right? New techniques that fill your cup instead of feeling like you are drained all of the time. There is a new you emerging here, Capricorn. You are starting to set healthier boundaries for yourself. Not only are you recognizing patterns, but you may also be noticing defense mechanisms that you have used, or even times where you have felt the push and pull of saying yes or saying no when you've really meant, no. And I see that you're starting to speak your truth without guilt. You're starting to protect your energy more by moving on here to something that feels more meaningful and moving into a space where you're feeling more connected, more aligned. And that may include you cutting ties or setting healthy boundaries for yourself between you and other individuals. So let's look at the hidden wound. Now, the wound here connects to the Three of Pentacles. So when this wound shows up, this is about community, reaching out, allowing supportive relationships to nurture that sense of belonging. Because many of you have felt like you have been the one that's been carrying all of the burdens, especially emotionally. When it comes to your relationships, you may feel like you are putting in 90% and the other individual has put in 10%. And it feels like you are exhausted from carrying basically the mother load. And how this shows up as a wound can even be emotional expression where we feel like we have to set aside our own needs. And the stories that we start to tell ourselves includes like, my needs don't matter because I have so many other responsibilities or so many other obligations here. And instead of feeling like you are supported through family dynamics or relationships, it can show up as the wound of perhaps even body image. It can be low self-worth, codependencies, or even hyper independence at times. And this can even be fears around not feeling like you have support. The core wound can be, I don't have support. And it leads into that story that the mind starts to tell of, all right, I'm going to have to live life this way of being on my own and carrying all of these burdens and doing everything myself. And so let's look at some of those old stories. You have the Eight of Swords coming up here. This is about rebuilding that inner dialogue because there may be stories around love being earned through taking care of and helping others in some way. So for example, your capability to open that beautiful heart of yours, Capricorn, is so big, but sometimes you are left feeling taken advantage of. And the story that we tell ourselves is love must be earned. I have to give more of myself in order to fully feel loved. And that is a story that creates a sense of disconnect. That's a story that winds us in that Eight of Cups loop where we tend to walk in circles instead of walking towards fulfillment. Love must be earned, or my needs don't matter. I put them on the back burner. I have to take care of everyone or everything else before I can sit down, before I can, buy something for myself, or before I can do anything here. I have to address these external energies first. So that is a story that can cause us to feel emotionally burnt out or exhausted. Another energy I'm getting here with this Eight of Swords, feeling helpless and hopeless at times, especially as you are taking a look at some of these mental patterns here around perhaps self-criticism. You may be in a phase where you are moving more into acceptance because you want to grow. I see that with the Eight of Cups. And now we have the Eight of Swords as the story that you are trying to leave behind. And this story is about self-criticism and self-judgment. And maybe that's been pushed out into your relationships where you've judged others harshly or criticized them harshly. But because this is the realm of the swords, the realm of the mind, it is about you rebuilding that inner dialogue through compassion and through kindness. And I feel like that is part of your biggest strength here, is catching yourself when you tend to fall back into some of those old stories. So let's look at your strengths. And this is one of my favorite parts of the reading here, because when this shows up as your strength or quality, it's because you are ready to celebrate this part of you. And the Two of Swords is coming through. So we have another mind energy here with the swords. And remember, this is about that inner dialogue. It's about the mental stories and the patterns that have played out, where one of your greatest strengths is to take a look at something head on, meaning you don't have to sit in denial. And at times there may have even been analysis paralysis, or you may have lied to yourself here, or you weren't able to see a situation beyond because it feels like the heart was being pulled in one direction with that Eight of Cups and the head was pulling you in a different direction. So one of your greatest strengths here is to tap into your authenticity, to listen to your inner wisdom instead of feeling the push and pull here. And for many of you, external validation may have been tethered to some sort of shame or guilt, meaning you may have had the need for external approval in some way, like that determined your self-worth. Or it could even be a dialogue that you heard growing up. Maybe this is how someone spoke to you, how someone treated you, and their words became your own inner dialogue. And maybe those words were, you're not enough, or you're never going to shine in this career, or you're never going to be successful in love. Whatever stories, whatever dialogues have been projected onto you or have been created throughout your own mind, I see that things are starting to become clear. Because as the Two of Swords coming through as your strength is saying, you have this resilience about you to rise up after hardship, to use your sensitivities to create more or curate more emotional intelligence, right? You are no longer feeling burdened by the sensitive nature that you hold within. This is about you having the courage, having the willingness to look at something head on. And that right there is true strength, because there's this willingness about you to grow. There's this willingness about you to heal. And you have taken the space here to reflect. But because you're showing up as the Eight of Cups, that's my eat, pray, love energy. If you've ever watched the movie or read the book, Julia Roberts, Elizabeth Gilbert, It is about a woman who feels like there's something missing. And instead of living life the way that society says she should live, right? She has the job and the husband and the home and the car. She's like, wait a second, something within me isn't isn't right. Something is not aligned. I need to figure out what that is. Now, not everyone can quit their job, get divorced, and move to Bali, but the way in which you are healing is going to be personal for each and every one of you. But you have this willingness to move forward here and to face what needs to be addressed instead of suppressed, right? You're addressing instead of suppressing, or at least that's part of your self work that you are doing, your self-love, because self-love isn't just about, massages and hot bubble baths and getting in touch with nature. It's also being able to look at our own patterns, our own conditioning, even though that can be challenging at times. And you have this ability here to remove the blindfold, to remove the mask. And that is a strength that deserves a pat on the back. So let's look at how you can better nurture your needs at this time, spiritual, emotional, physical, and even mental. You have the Three of Wands. This is beautiful energy because you are rebuilding your own sense of motivation, your own inner confidence here, inner trust. You are starting to really take the lead and allow yourself time out when you need it. Allow yourself time to reflect, to meditate, to take a nap if you want to basically slow down a bit. And if you are a caregiver, this is especially important to put your own rest and solitude to the top of your priority list. Otherwise, you start to build resentments. You start to feel burnt out and exhausted. So this is where community comes in here. Allowing supportive relationships, family, friends, even therapists or coaches or mentors to help nurture that sense of connection. This could also be connected to your own pets, your own animals. But the Three of Wands is a manifestation energy here. And Spirit is saying you have what it takes to unlock that hidden potential within, to unlock some of those core wounds in order for you to cultivate powerful, healthy relationships by saying no without feeling guilty and protecting your energy from energy vampires, if you will, to allow yourself to express as needed, whether this is through journaling, through dancing, through therapy, or engaging in artistic outlets. This is about you reconnecting to self, that spirit within, perhaps through prayer, through breath work, mindfulness, or even grounding rituals, Capricorn, to allow you to reconnect to that inner self instead of letting the fears of the mind take over. You're starting to treat yourself as you would, a friend that you love, like a baby, a newborn baby. You are talking to yourself with kindness, and some of you are even reparenting yourself. And you're really starting to feel more confident here when it comes to your own inner awareness, your inner trust. And this is going to flow out into your outer world, regardless of relationship status, regardless of where you are at currently. Now, you have here the root chakra showing up as your key chakra for the month, which has to do with our safety, our sense of stability and belonging. Now, this has been coming up for a lot of signs, and it makes sense because we are living in a time where there's a lot of uncertainties, right? We live in these unprecedented times. And even though the base chakra is formulated more so between the ages of 0 and 7, we have more tools now than ever to be able to take a look at our mental health, to be able to choose wisely. And even though there's a lot of information out there, and that's why you have that pull with the Two of Swords, because there are certain certain things on media that say this is the diet that is best for you, or this is the type of relationship and this is how you achieve this, right? There's so much information, but truly listening to your core wounds and your patterns, tuning in through awareness, tuning in through, recognition is where it's at here. And if you have some childhood wounds that have shown up for you, if you have been working through perfectionism or even imposter syndrome or even vulnerability, opening yourself up, because that Eight of Cups does require emotional vulnerability in order for you to let love in, especially from external energies here, external people. And the base chakra is reminding you, Capricorn, that self-love begins with feeling safe in your own body, right? Trusting that you deserve to exist. You deserve to take up space. Now, this is the foundation of inner security. It is the foundation of grounding and really getting in touch with your body, working with the base chakra, because some of you may have felt physically exhausted in the lower extremities, or you may have had physical ailments show up, including, the lower back, the hip region, the knees or the legs. This could be circulation, as well as the toes, the feet, the ankles. And I see that you are addressing the root cause here. You're looking at healing your body, not only from the inside out, but you're taking a holistic approach to your relationship, especially the one with yourself. Now, lastly here, a message from your higher self. We have the color red, which, how interesting, because you have the red root chakra here, and she's sitting in a bathtub and she has all of these red flowers around her. They almost look like red tomatoes or red apples. But the message here is forgive, number 10. Some of you may be born on the 10th, and the message here for you is this. You've been holding a grudge against somebody in your life. Maybe it's a loved one, or maybe it's yourself. This isn't a card telling you that you must learn to practice forgiveness. No, forgive them on your own terms, if and when you feel ready to do so. This is simply a nudge for you to consider whether that time is the present. Don't let forgiveness feel like an obligation, but like a shiny red hope that gets you through your sleepless late nights. And because the root chakra is connected here, perhaps this is someone from childhood. Could this be a parent? Could this be something that you have embraced as a younger version of yourself, and it's been conditioned within your mind? And this is coming up for you to re-examine, and not for you to feel pressured to forgive, because that's not going to work. True forgiveness comes when you are ready. It can't be forced. So work with the color red. Work with the root chakra this month, Capricorn. That is what I have for you, beautiful souls. Now, I want to remind you here, some of you are like, Mel, how do I work with the root chakra? This can be connecting to the color red, wearing it. It can be eating more root-based fruits, or I should say vegetables here, like your potatoes, your carrots, your onions, things like that. Also connecting to red fruits and vegetables, working with red crystals, but also grounding techniques, getting out in nature, putting your bare feet in the grass, or going up and connecting to a tree, putting your hand on a tree, or hugging a tree. I've done that a time or two, right? And you are capable of connecting to your body. So body movement. Get out there and move your body. So that is what I have for you, beautiful Capricorns. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed the reading, or if you found even a small nugget of wisdom here, please do give it a thumbs up. It certainly helps the channel grow, which I'm so grateful for, but it also helps the spiritual algorithm get to those that need the tools to be able to heal, because when we heal, the world heals. And if you are interested in a personal reading or signing up for the monthly newsletter, you can find all of that information in the description box below the video, or by visiting intuitivesoulcoach.com.